Imagine sitting down at a table and being served a crab so large its legs stretch farther than your arm span. Not a monster from a movie, not an exaggerated fishtail, but something real, pulled from the ocean and placed on dinner plates around the world. Some crabs grow so enormous that they redefine what we think seafood even looks like. And yet they're not just impressive to see. They're edible, harvested, and served in restaurants every year. So, what are the biggest crabs you can eat? Today we're exploring the true giants of the crab world, where they live, how big they actually get, and why some of them have become culinary icons. From icy northern waters to deep southern seas, we're uncovering the largest edible crabs on Earth. Right here, on History of Simple Things. The Japanese spider crab holds the record for the largest leg span of any living crab, stretching up to about 12 feet from claw to claw in exceptional individuals. Its body measures roughly 16 inches across, but its extremely long, slender legs create its enormous reach. Native to deep waters off Japan, typically between 150 and 300 meters below the surface, these crabs move slowly along the seafloor, feeding on shellfish, small animals, and organic debris. Despite their intimidating appearance, they are edible and have been consumed in Japan for generations. The meat is mild and slightly sweet, often used in soups or traditional dishes rather than served as thick leg portions. They grow slowly and can live for decades, contributing to their impressive size. Although not exported on the same scale as king crab, they remain the undisputed champions of leg span among edible crabs. If spider crabs dominate in length, red king crabs dominate in bulk and commercial value. Found in the Bering Sea and North Pacific, especially near Alaska and Russia, they can weigh more than 20 pounds with leg spans approaching 6 feet. Unlike the thin limbs of spider crabs, king crabs have thick, muscular legs filled with firm white meat. Their flavor is rich, yet clean, with a natural sweetness that holds up well to steaming or grilling. Red king crab fisheries are heavily regulated with quotas and seasonal limits to ensure sustainability. Harvesting often takes place in harsh, icy conditions, which adds to their reputation and market value. When people imagine oversized crab legs served in seafood restaurants, it is almost always the red king crab that defines that image. The Tasmanian giant crab is one of the heaviest crab species in the world. Large males can weigh up to 40 pounds and reach nearly 18 inches across the shell. Found in deep waters off southern Australia at depths exceeding 800 meters, this species has a thick body and massive claws that contribute to its weight. The meat is dense and flavorful, often compared to king crab in texture and quality. Because they grow slowly and mature later in life, strict management is required to prevent overfishing. Commercial harvesting is carefully controlled, and many fisheries release large breeding females to maintain populations. In terms of sheer body mass among edible crabs, the Tasmanian giant crab ranks near the top. Snow crabs may not reach the extreme size of king or Tasmanian giant crabs, but they are still considered large by seafood standards and are among the most widely harvested crab species globally. Typically weighing between 2 and 4 pounds, they have long legs filled with delicate, slightly fibrous white meat. Snow crabs inhabit cold waters in both the North Atlantic and North Pacific, supporting major fisheries in Canada, the United States, Japan, and Russia. Their flavor is sweet and lighter than king crab, making them popular in buffets and seafood markets. Because they are abundant and easier to process, they are more accessible to consumers. While they do not break size records, Snow crabs remain one of the largest and most commercially important edible crab species worldwide. The Dungeness crab lives along the west coast of North America from Alaska to California. Mature individuals can weigh up to 4 pounds and measure about 10 inches across the shell. Although smaller than king or Tasmanian giant crabs, Dungeness crabs are valued for the proportion of meat in their body and claws. The flavor is clean, slightly sweet, and firm without being tough. Fisheries strictly regulate harvest seasons and enforce minimum size limits to protect breeding populations. Dungeness crab plays a major role in West Coast seafood culture, especially during peak harvest seasons when it becomes widely available. While it does not claim record-breaking dimensions, it remains one of the biggest and most respected edible crab species in North America. The coconut crab is the largest land-dwelling arthropod in the world, capable of weighing up to 9 pounds with a leg span exceeding 3 feet. Found on islands across the Indian and Pacific Oceans, it is technically edible and has been consumed traditionally in some regions. Unlike marine crabs, coconut crabs live mostly on land and use powerful claws to crack coconuts and other hard foods. However, overharvesting and habitat loss have led to population declines in certain areas, resulting in protective regulations. Their availability in commercial markets is limited compared to marine species like king crab. Although impressive in size, sustainability concerns determine whether they can be harvested. They demonstrate that some of the largest edible crabs are not limited to the ocean, even if they are far less common on modern seafood menus. When asking what the biggest crabs you can eat are, the answer spans oceans and continents. The Japanese spider crab holds the record for leg span. The red king crab dominates global seafood markets with its thick, meaty legs, and the Tasmanian giant crab rivals them in sheer weight. Snow crabs and Dungeness crabs may be smaller, but they remain substantial and widely enjoyed. Even the coconut crab shows that enormous size extends beyond marine environments, though conservation shapes its future. Together, these species represent the true giants of the edible crab world, remarkable not only for their size, but for their role in fisheries and food cultures around the globe. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.